Have you been trying to keep track of the headlines about electric vehicles lately? It's kind of dizzying.
Oh, absolutely. One minute it's all doom and gloom, an EV winter.
Right. And the next you read about record sales, like they're taking over the world. It's hard to know what's actually going on.
It really is. So what's the real story? Are they stalling or are they just unstoppable?
Okay, let's unpack this. Because the perception versus the reality,
Mm-hmm.
well, the actual data tells a much clearer story, I think.
Yeah.
More consistent than the day-to-day news might suggest. So today, we're diving deep. Our mission here is to cut through all that noise and give you the clearest possible picture of global EV sales. Where are things really heading?
Exactly. We've looked at a whole range of analyses, forecasts from
Right.
reliable industry sources to get a good handle on the global trends, especially looking at 2025. And the idea is simple. Distill it down, get you the key takeaways so you walk away feeling properly informed.
Yeah, and this isn't just about car sales figures, is it? It's tied into these huge industrial, environmental, economic shifts.
Massive shifts.
So think of this as your shortcut, not just to know the numbers, but to really get what this transition means for all of us, for industries, maybe even the planet. All right, let's jump in then. If you filter out that daily noise and just look at the data, it's actually showing a pretty remarkable recovery, strong growth in EVs.
Mm-hmm.
The numbers for 2025, they're looking, well, potentially groundbreaking.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking projections of global EV sales for 2025 hitting over 20 million units.
20 million, that's big.
It is, especially when you compare it to 2024, which was around 17 million. So that's, what, a 17.6% increase year over year? That feels really strong.
It's definitely strong growth.
But when you see that kind of jump, 17 to 20 million cars in just 1 year, what does that really mean beyond the percentage? What's the impact?
Well, what's really fascinating here, and this kind of blows that whole EV winter idea out of the water, is what it means for market share, total market penetration.
Okay.
For the first time, EVs are actually set to go over 25% of total global vehicle registrations in 2025.
Wow. Okay, 1 in 4.
1 in every 4 new cars sold globally will be electric. I mean, that's not a niche anymore, right? That's mainstream.
Definitely not niche.
And it's not just a prediction for later in the year either. The momentum is already there. Q1 2025, the first 3 months, saw an incredible 35% year-over-year growth in sales.
35%.
Yeah.
In just 1 quarter.
Yeah. So this isn't just bouncing back. It's proper acceleration. The market's really picking up speed, like unprecedented speed. And that kind of uptake, it puts real positive pressure on manufacturing, on supply chains, infrastructure. It shows a fundamental shift, I think, in what consumers want and where companies are investing. It runs deeper than the headlines suggest.
That acceleration is really something. A quarter of all new cars,
Yes.
it's moving fast. But like you said, that raises questions about scaling up,
It
infrastructure.
does.
But before we get into those challenges, let's look at where this growth is happening, because it's not the same everywhere, is it?
Mm-hmm.
Different regions have very different stories. And when we talk about who's leading,
Mm-hmm.
well, China just keeps dominating right
Yeah.
now.
Oh, absolutely. China's role is, it's almost hard to overstate. They sold over 11 million EVs just in 2024.
11 million.
And they're projected to account for over half, over 50% of all global EV sales in 2025.
Half the world's EVs
Mm-hmm.
in one country?
And maybe even more striking.
Yeah.
Nearly 50%, almost half of all new cars sold in China are now electric. It's just a completely different market reality there.
Incredible.
And if you connect that to the bigger picture, China's volume isn't just changing their own market. It's driving down global costs, pushing battery tech forward, basically setting the pace for the whole world's transition.
Those China numbers are just phenomenal. Really shows what can happen. But Yelta, for a lot of our listeners, Europe and North America are maybe more front of mind.
Sure.
So China's setting this incredible pace. How do Europe and North America compare? What's the story there?
Right, good question. So Europe, they sold about 3 million EVs in 2024. That was roughly 20% market share for new cars.
Okay.
Now, there was some talk, like you heard in the headlines, about stagnation in Europe in 2024.
I remember reading that.
Yeah, but the 2025 data, it's showing a really clear, strong recovery, a lot of renewed energy. EV registrations across Europe jumped by almost 22%, plus 21.9% to be precise.
So bouncing back strongly.
Definitely. Probably helped by renewed incentives in some places and just maybe more affordable models coming online. And actually, got to give a quick shout out to Italy within Europe.
Oh, yeah.
They've shown absolutely exceptional growth. We're talking plus 63.3% increase in EV registrations just from January to May 2025. way above the average for Europe.
Wow, 63%. What's driving that in Italy specifically?
Likely a mix of new attractive incentives kicking in and maybe catching up a bit. It shows you can get these really rapid bursts of growth, even within a larger region.
Interesting. Okay, so Europe's recovering well. What about the U.S. and North America?
So North America, the U.S. growth has been a bit slower, but it's been very stable, steady. Around a 10% increase in 2024 sales, similar kind of market share, around that 10% mark too.
Slower but steady.
Exactly. And it seems less driven by really aggressive government incentives across the board and more by just more models becoming available, especially the kinds of vehicles North Americans prefer, you know?
Like SUVs and trucks.
Precisely. More electric SUVs, more pickups, and strong pushes from the local manufacturers too. Ford, GM, they're getting more serious.
Right.
So it feels more like steady organic growth as the options get better.
Right. Different dynamics playing out everywhere. Fascinating. But that brings up the big question, I think. Why? Why is this happening now with such momentum? What are the real fundamental reasons behind this global shift? Beyond just the sales numbers?
Yeah, this is the core of it, isn't it? And it's not just one thing. It's really a convergence, several factors working together, making each other stronger.
Okay, like what?
Well, first, probably the biggest one, accessibility and cost. Battery costs are falling, and that's huge.
Right, we hear about that a lot.
But it's not just that they're falling, it's how that's creating this tipping point. We're finally seeing more affordable EV models. Some, if you look at the total cost of owning them, they're actually becoming cheaper than comparable gasoline cars. That makes them genuinely competitive for, the average person for the first time. Cost parity is a game changer.
That makes a huge difference. What else?
Second is policies and incentives. Even though they fluctuate a bit, government support is still a major driver.
Still important then.
Absolutely. Think about Germany's environmental bonuses or France's incentives. They really shaped how quickly people adopted EVs there, even influenced which models car makers pushed. And you see the flip side, too. When some tax credits change suddenly, it can cool things off temporarily. It shows how much the market relies on steady, predictable support. It's not just subsidies, it's also about clear rules for the car makers.
Okay, so cost and policy, what's third?
Third is technology and infrastructure. Just steady improvements that tackle those old worries people had.
Like range anxiety.
Exactly. Range anxiety is becoming less of an issue. Batteries are getting better, giving you 300, maybe 400 miles on a charge and many new models. That covers most people's driving easily.
Yeah, that makes a difference for longer trips.
For sure. And it's not just range. Charging is getting better, too. More stations, yes, but crucially, more fast chargers. DC rapid chargers. That shrinks the time you need to fill up quite a bit. So those practical barriers, they're dissolving.
Good point. And the final piece.
And finally, I'd say it's a broader trend. Environmental awareness. People, especially maybe younger buyers, are thinking more about sustainability.
You definitely see more talk about that.
Right. And zero-emission vehicles fit perfectly with that growing concern. It's not just about rules, it's a shift in values. The environmental impact is a real factor in buying decisions now, and EVs offer a tangible way to, go greener. So you put all those together, cost, policy, tech, awareness, and you get this really strong tailwind pushing EVs forward.
That makes a lot of sense. A powerful combination. Okay, so we've looked at the present, the why. Let's cast our eyes a bit further ahead, medium term. What are the big agencies projecting for, say, the end of the decade? The International Energy Agency, the IEA, they usually have some interesting forecasts.
They do, and they're pretty bold, actually. The IEA is forecasting that the global EV market share, get this, could go over 40% by 2030.
40%? Wow, that's nearly half of all cars by 2030.
It's a huge leap from today's 25%. And they base that on current policies staying roughly in place and tech continuing to improve. And like we touched on earlier, that growth won't just be China. China will still lead, but emerging economies in Asia, Latin America, they're becoming really important new growth areas too.
40%. That implies massive changes for the industry itself. How are car makers responding?
Well, they have to respond. These kinds of projections mean huge industrial shifts are already happening. Automakers are pouring money into adjusting production lines, building new EV-focused factories.
Retooling everything.
Exactly. Retooling, retraining workforces, scrambling to secure supply chains for batteries and minerals. It's a massive undertaking. You see it clearly in Europe, for example. Germany is becoming a really key hub for EV production, not just for German brands, but for others too. Tesla's expanding there, Ford as well. They're building capacity right where the demand is surging.
So, pulling this all together,
Yeah.
what does it mean for you listening to this, whether you're thinking about buying a car or you work in a related field or just want to stay informed.
I think it means you're watching one of the biggest transformations of our time happen right now. Industrial, environmental, economic mobility is changing fundamentally.
It's not some niche thing anymore or
Yeah.
something for the distant future. EVs are going mainstream, fast. And that changes everything from how we drive to how our cities are planned, how our economies work.
It's a profound shift.
Okay, so let's wrap up this deep dive. The key takeaway from all the sources today. 2025 is shaping up to be a landmark year for EVs. Really robust, unprecedented growth. We're seeing sales likely hitting over 20 million globally, making up a full quarter of all new car sales worldwide. It's a major, undeniable shift happening right now.
And we really hope this discussion has helped you cut through some of that noise, those confusing headlines. Hopefully you feel better equipped to understand the real direction of this huge change in the auto world.
Definitely.
And maybe here's a final thought to leave you with, something to chew on. If EVs do hit that 40% market share by 2030, like the IEA suggests, how much more dramatically does our energy infrastructure need to change than we're even planning for now? What kind of innovation beyond just making better cars will we need? Smart grids, local power generation, different city planning. What's needed to truly support that scale of electric driving?
That's a huge question. Lots to think about there. Well, if you found this deep dive useful today, and we certainly hope you did, please do give us a like and make sure you subscribe to the channel so you don't miss our future deep dives.
Yes, please do. And we'd love to hear your thoughts too. Leave a comment below. What do you think about the future of EVs? Did anything we discussed today really stand out to you? Your feedback really helps us shape what we cover next.
Thanks so much for joining us on the deep dive. We'll catch you next time.